Welcome, Amber, and it's really great that we're having this opportunity to speak today. And just wanted to have a chat about your experience of the Dare to Lead program. So thank you so much for making the time.
Yeah, not at all. I'm really excited about it.
Excellent. So just by way of kicking off, and so people watching this video understand who you are, can you tell me a little bit about your role, please? Like what do you do?
Sure. I have not been in education very long, probably 6 years. I was a project manager in business prior to that. But I most recently got this job as a leading teacher at Pascoe Vale Girls as head of engagement and achievement.
Right.
And as part of that, I sold our leadership an idea that I would really be able to help solve sort of the trust issues that students were experiencing and the high levels of anxiety that the girls in our population and students, I guess, across the state and across the world are experiencing. And selling this, what initially helped me sell this was having read Brené Brown's books. Yeah, so my job really entails, and I'm only new to it this year, is I have to increase student voice. I sold an idea of student goal setting based on a reflection on their learning, and so really clear goal setting, and also part of Brené's program about building trust in classrooms, because as part of the department we're obliged to run safe classrooms, and we do run very safe classrooms. Students say in questionnaires that they do feel safe, but they don't trust. And so trust in the relationship is something that is what I'm trying to improve it.
Sounds like a worthy goal, because as we both know, trust is so important to so many things, isn't it? Particularly a teacher-student relationship. If you haven't got trust, it becomes a bit hard work, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And you can see students go into all sorts of defense mechanisms, revenge, they could just shut off, disengagement, all sorts of things. Yeah.
So you've talked about some of the reasons why you may have done the Dare to Lead program with the leadership sphere. Was there any other reasons? I think before we started, professional development, or you've got a real passion around leadership and what have you? What else were you trying to get from the Dare to Lead program?
Do you know, it actually started because I'm a really passionate teacher, and I teach English and EAL, and I try to teach concepts and real life things, because I think students can't transfer. If you've read a book when you were 16, are you going to remember it? No, you're going to remember those learning experiences. So when I'd read Brené Brown's, I actually searched up, is there a course I need to do, because I need to get really good at this. How am I going to teach it? I don't have time to teach myself. And that's how I got onto your website, and I thought, this is fabulous, I'm doing it. And honestly, it has been the best leadership training I've had. The experience I had with your company was far more valuable and has moved me forward in my own professional and personal development than any other training I've had.
That's lovely to hear. Because I think we've had previous conversations also about, you can read the book, but until you go through a structured process where you actually apply things, it may not make any difference. That's kind of, I guess, the point you're making, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I had read the book several times. I'd watched her YouTube videos. I'd even taught her theory of shame in class to my students, and it really resonated. And yet I still think I only got it conceptually, because I would walk around telling people about it, about how fabulous this idea about shame is. But I don't think I'd internalised it. I don't think it had become a set of behaviours, and that's what your course enabled me to do. Because even driving to and from work, I would listen to the audio and be thinking about it and making connections, going, this would be fabulous to change people, but it did not change me. So I'm not saying in any way that Brené's work was like that, but that's why your course was wonderfully useful.
Oh, it's really nice to hear. And it's a really great call out, isn't it? We can kind of, I love how you framed it. We can intellectually understand something, but until we actually incorporate it into our daily kind of lives, and that's not being woo-hooey about it, that's just actually being really practical and pragmatic about it.
Absolutely.
until we're having tough conversations, until we're showing up in a perhaps more, authentic or courageous way, then it's just sitting out in our heads as an idea.
But I think what it was also was being in a group of really highly motivated people, which was initially really intimidating. I really thought, this is fabulous. I'm actually having, through these role plays and through this reflection, these real experiences of moments that I know I'm not going to be judged about because they don't know about my role. There is going to be no question whether I'm doing it. It was really wonderfully authentic, actually.
Fantastic. And you certainly demonstrated just a personal reflection, your voice in the course as well. And you demonstrated moments of courage that, like any moment of courage, you can actually change the course of a conversation or change the course of a course, right? And so, just to acknowledge your role in that as well, you pushed and challenged people in a way which was very, very constructive and really helpful.
Oh, thank you. I just try to fully immerse myself, and I think if I'm going to embarrass, and I try not to be rude, but I figure if I'm going to embarrass myself, I'm sort of happy to do it at 42. And I've got a role model list because, as a teacher, I've got to show women that, the women I'm getting are wonderfully intelligent and passionate, but really quiet about their learning and about themselves. And so I feel also really a responsibility for role modelling that in school.
And it's so important, isn't it? I mean, if we can teach our kids these types of skills, and they'll grow up to be really good humans and contributors to society and the organisations they're part of.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and their families, not to mention their families.
Their families.
What kind of difference has it made?
So, absolutely made a difference. It actually, the way your course ran actually forced me slowly into myself, into my internal world, which was really wonderful, because what I realised through one of the strategies was that I'm a real hustler.
Right.
That hustle is real. And I think I had a conversation with Roderick, and I remember thinking, I knew I was a hustler. I knew I moved about and tried to rally people to get them to believe what I was saying. I've really got a sense of, oh my God, this is what I do. And I don't need a hustle. I need to stop and step up into a space and just be.
Lovely.
And through going through that practice in your course, it was fabulous because I wasn't embarrassed in acknowledging that, because I think I know quite a lot about myself. I've done a lot of self-development.
I think you do too.
Thank you. I do think your course really caused me to go, you know what? And then your habit building, in addition to the habit builder you did, I don't think I did the first course, but I did, and I wrote it down. I didn't actually do it on the machine. It was my first. I'm sorry to take you back from my answer, but I'll bring you back forward.
No, it's good.
Initially, my first goal was to stop complaining.
Wow.
And I realized that through even just our first session. And I thought, I'm trying to escape this course because I don't want to be accountable. These people are really amazing. I want to be amazing. So I started writing down, I'm not complaining. So I actually just set this thing for myself, not that you can change yourself. So when you said, what are you going to change about yourself? I'm not going to complain. And you would not believe it, I have stopped complaining.
That's amazing.
I do not complain, and I was really good at it. And I used to think I don't complain, but I would whinge about my workload, about how many hours I did. And I actually thought, that's me. I actually just stopped complaining, and that has been one of the biggest revelations.
That's amazing.
First one, the hustle that I did, and really that was coming from a basis of I'm not worthy, and I've stopped hustling.
Wow.
Oh, and it feels so peaceful. And now what I realized is, if I just do my job really well, it just flows out, and it's beautiful. And I found even with my classes, the feedback I'm getting from my classes is that they're loving what I'm doing. The leaders, you would not believe this course has changed me, and I needed it right now because as I said, I was not coping with remote teaching because I couldn't shift my imagination from being in the room face to face reading students to imagining a class virtually. I was really resisting it. And stopping complaining was a big one.
Wow. That's huge. And the impact, well, I'm really, it's so wonderful to hear the impact it's had on you, but it sounds like the impact has rippled out into, students and other relationships that you have as well, which is huge, right?
Oh, absolutely. And even my daughters, like I remember if they would get upset about something and I'd say, could you please stop complaining? And they said, like you can talk, that's all you do.
Oh, wow. Gee, that's
feedback
that hurts a bit.
Yeah. And it's wonderful though that to have kids, they did say it probably in a more polite way than that, but I think they've been giving me feedback for a while, and I realised when I moved into the leadership sphere, that's your company, but I am actually entering that sphere, is that I had to move from a coordinator, which is a busy tasks managing kids, to a space where I need to move forward and listen and act, or in some ways just help facilitate. And I had really seen that I couldn't do that, and this is what your course has helped me with. And even with, I realised my complaints were triggering others' anxiety too.
Yes.
So even calling my mum and saying, oh, blah, 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 as if I'm just having a conversation, I realised I've actually triggered her, and then she's told someone else this, and I'm really worried. I've triggered this sort of anxiety scale when really I didn't even need to say anything. I could have just not said anything. In fact, I don't think I've ever been so quiet.
Wow. It's a really amazing insight, isn't it? Because I think I can't remember who said the quote now, but people don't remember what you say, but they remember how they feel as a result of the interaction with you or with us. And so they may not hear the words, but they remember how they feel. And I think that's what you're talking to really elegantly, is that if you were kind of complaining and getting stuff off your chest, you're triggering other people to do the same. And it creates a kind of a vortex of negativity in a way, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's why. But even with our principal, who was saying our leadership, we had to have a meeting towards, the end of learning when we went back face to face, and she had said, I want your feedback about how the leadership team is going. And I started really, from your course, asking for what I needed. I said to her, I really think I need to be stepping up more in leading as opposed to telling you all the things wrong, because I actually think there's some great things going on here and
amazing.
We need to be all doing it. And she's like, well, thank you. And I genuinely meant it. It wasn't some sort of, so I've been asking for more help when I need it. But the complaining with that, I really thought vulnerability was sharing what was happening in your life. And I realised through the course I overshared. Didn't know how to change though. And really when I wrote that thing, I'm going to stop complaining, I've stopped oversharing.
Right.
So fabulous. It's
That's amazing, because of course we may not even kind of think this, but we overshare to try and hotwire connection, don't we? We think that's going to, elevate our status with other people, or somehow, make them like us more, whereas in fact often has the counter effect. So it's a pretty powerful insight.
I thought, I've caused it. I am doing this. I shouldn't be complaining about it. I am modelling this for them. And that's why through my role, I really want to, and love your support in teaching strategies to people about how to not overshare. Because this is better than therapy, what you're doing. You think better than, and I have had therapy in the past. It's better than therapy. Absolutely.
That's wonderful. So it sounds like, you're obviously, got an enormous amount from the program. So I think you're going to answer yes to this question. Would you recommend it? But who should do this program, do you think?
Oh, look, anyone and everyone, but especially young people, because young people change the world. Like my daughters have changed me so much. The things they say to me, which are very straightforward, which are really just lovely feedback, I have changed. And in fact, when I see my husband change, he only changes through their feedback, not my feedback. And I don't think it's necessarily sexist. I think it's just when it comes from our children, there's a different dynamic. So I think, of course, all of us in corporations and schools and anyone and everyone needs to do it. But I think we will change the world if young people do it.
Ah, lovely. Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. We better start to wrap up just because of time, but I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I've particularly enjoyed how you've articulated the insights and the practical changes you've been able to make and the difference that the course made for you. And you've been extremely generous in your sharing and with your time. So I just want to really give you a heartfelt thank you for your time.
That's okay. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Amber.